Welcome into another episode of Pickle with Mickle, my interview series, and happy to have back on the court with me, Chris Cali. He's still not sorry. Chris, we got a lot to talk about today, but first of all, how you doing? Been a while.
Yeah. I'm glad you asked me to come back on. This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, absolutely. Going to be a lot of fun. I'm sure we'll have no problem mixing it up here a little bit on the virtual court, which reminds me of, a great way to start is when we met in person was actually at a Proton event up
That's
there in
right.
Scottsdale. You were out here. I didn't get to get on the court. You did, played pretty well. So quick segue. Are you still getting out on the court? How's your game these days?
I feel like I'm much better than I was back at Proton for that event. That was like in 2024, so that was like 2 years ago. And yeah, I'm like craving another chance. It's like those moments don't always come too often where you're playing in front of like people as
Right.
someone who's like a 4-0. So I guess I played good enough to sleep at night, but yeah, definitely have it's gotten much better since then.
That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you were right out there, and there was a good crowd there that night, which leads me to big in the news. Proton once again, and it wasn't too long ago we saw them get slapped with a big fine. We saw one of their players, Big Dre, as I like to call him, get suspended even, and now here they are, forefront again. Paddles can't be used on tour. However, we find out that it's a little more than that now. You've had some affiliation with Proton, and I mean, let's talk about it. What do you know about what's going on, the state of Proton? When can we see players maybe using the paddle, and does it run deeper?
Oh, well, I don't know that much. What I do know is it seems like this UPA situation is probably going to be definitive. The UPA was like, hey, look, if you just pay what you owe us, we'll let you back in. We're totally fine. We just want to get paid. They're holding on to their boundary. I know there's some disagreements with, Proton feels like UPA didn't fulfill what they're supposed to. I don't know how true that is. I don't really know exactly what they're claiming they didn't do, but it does seem like it's going to be, yeah, if you're for UPA purposes, not going to be allowed. I mean, they're still going to probably go after APP players and
Sure.
maybe some more amateur stuff. So I don't think Proton is gone forever, but I do know there might be some shakeups in the ownership and leadership team over there. So, but again, I'm just going based off of like rumors. So what do I know?
Well, I mean, exactly. I mean, they're right in my backyard here, and what really do I know? I haven't heard a definitive statement from current ownership there. What you hear is a lot of, let me flip it over here, and as well, the paddles aren't meeting the spec to the specifics that the UPA put out. But then you hear, no, 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 it's all about that they haven't paid their dues, and then Proton might say, well, only because of UPA hasn't done this, and just like you said, and what always gets me is when a lot of these things start to come out or happen, there's a lot of pickle said on both sides of the coin until it finally ultimately flushes out what is the real truth. What I think you said is right. Proton's not going to go away. Certainly they can go after APP players. There's no reason they shouldn't. And certainly their paddles can be used by you or me or anyone else who's out there playing rec games or maybe affiliated with another league or something of that nature. And so we'll see how it all continues to go.
Yeah, and it's a shame too because they make good paddles. I love the guys over there, and they're a ton of fun. So yeah, honestly, like if you're like a business person and you want to get into the pickleball world, instead of starting your own paddle company, it's like, hey, if you got the capital to pull Proton out of their debt, like you've already got an in with UPA. It's a good move. You know what I mean? That really the only thing that I feel like has ever held Proton back is everybody always. It's so weird. Everybody wants to message me about it. They're like, "Hey, do you know when Proton will be back in stock? Hey, why is Proton sold out?" It's like I don't know, but because everybody loves their paddles and they want them. And
Yeah.
I feel like that was always the thing that like held them back the most was they just literally could not supply all the demand for it. And nobody's gonna wait for a paddle. They're like, okay, if it's not available, I'm gonna go to Yola. I'm gonna go to Selkirk. I'm gonna go to whoever. So it is kind of a shame because it does feel like they had a good opportunity to really like compete at the top level with like the top paddles. But yeah, it seems like at this point it's pretty definitive they fell short of that.
Absolutely. And it'll be interesting to see if more players continue to go sign with other companies because we're starting to see some of the ranks kind of thin out over there too. And so, again, don't think it's a long term thing. We'll see how it goes. But it also, if you're looking to get into business as a paddle maker with UPA, some of the costs associated with that, like you said, if you think you're getting into this thing just as a brand new company gunning to be the next paddle, it it's a big game. And so you have to have some infrastructure there financially, maybe some big partners to also keep up. Like you mentioned, this paddle game now, Chris, is wicked wild. I thought it was Wild West 3, 4 years ago. Now we're seeing new stuff almost every 6 months. I mean, talk to me a little bit about what you see and where you think it's going.
Well, I mean, the thing that stood out to me over the last few months, because when it comes to like paddles, we are at the point where they've all kind of like reached the limit on what's possible. I don't hear too much about like, oh, this paddle is so much better than the rest of them. You used to hear that, like back in the day,
Right.
of like a few years ago, it was like this one has so much more grit than the rest of them, or this one is so much more powerful than the rest of them. Now, like paddle companies kind of figured out how to make them at the maximum level that's allowed. And UPA or whatever has done like a good job of trying to like create limits and do the testing and all that. Whereas before it was a little bit more vague and kind of sketchy. But the thing now that's setting paddle companies apart really is marketing. I look around at the courts here, and like anywhere in the country, you're gonna have paddles that are regional. It's like Paddle Tech, I think, is more of like a Michigan thing. SoCal is Carbon is big. Arizona is Proton, as I'm sure you know. I'm sure you see a lot of Protons out there. So a lot of it, besides like Yola and Selkirk, it's all like regional. But one thing I've been noticing a lot is so many people have the RKM paddles, and I think they just like nailed their marketing when it comes to that paddle. Like I really have no other explanation. Like people are hearing about it, seeing things about it, and so they're interested and they want to get it. It's good enough, as good as any other paddle out there.
Yeah.
So, really it comes down to it's like you kind of want to just like feel good when you have a paddle,
I
And
There you
so I
go.
think that's like a big part of it.
And I would agree. I've always agreed with that is even a few years ago with the tech and companies were getting to the forefront of the tech part of it. And it was, all right, what feels good? What looks right with me? What do I like? What am I vibing with? And the RKM, I saw my first one in the wild down at the Tumbleweed Pickleball Park not too long ago. And the guy was a contest winner. And from the contest they had, and he was out there playing. He was a good player. But I asked him, he's like, no, man, he's like, it plays with, some of the best paddles I've ever played with. He was still getting used to it, of course. But so, yeah, great pull on that paddle. And so we'll see how those things continue to develop.
Yeah. I mean, like for myself, I'm like, I don't know if I had to get like a new paddle right now, it's like, do I really care about these like minute differences in performance? Like, I'm tempted to almost just get the SpongeBob paddle from Volair. I'm like, I love SpongeBob. I just kind of want to like feel like fun, like having that paddle. So, I wouldn't be surprised if you see companies kind of, maybe going that route where they nostalgia bait people, or, it's more
Yeah.
about like the design and the look of it. Because I think your average person is not really too in tuned with, performance stuff. So.
Great way to do it. You run a kind of a 1 month limited edition, with a SpongeBob or whatever the thing is out there.
Or a
New
Tesla
move.
paddle. The Tesla paddle is selling for hundreds of dollars. I thought people were gonna collect that thing and be like, "Oh, this is like a cool collect." I see people out here playing with it. I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, put that thing away. I feel like it's special. So yeah, so if you just appeal to people's, interests and stuff like that, like people will buy it. As long as it's like good enough to play with, people will buy it.
Hell, I mean, I'm looking for the next best, skillet because I see all of those things on TikTok with guys using frying pans. And it's like,
Yeah.
are we going back to Teflon? What's the best surface I need on my skillet? Do I go 8 inch, 10 inch? I don't know. Can I get a Tui with it? And so we'll
Yeah.
see.
There you go. I can't wait to see you out there with your cast iron pan playing
That's
pickleball.
right.
You're
Oh,
gonna be
yeah. Yeah.
jacked after a few months of playing like that, but yeah.
Getting huge, swole. Having a lot of fun sitting here with Chris Cali, Pickle with Mickle. And, Chris, as somebody no stranger to having a lot of content out there, you've been at this for a long time. You've got some new things going for you. We were talking a little offline. I did my research, or I should say, my crack team fed me the data so I can talk to you about it. And I mean, having to defend yourself as being a sellout, I love it. Let's just get into it. You've got some cool stuff going on. First of all, like I said, your content's always been great. Always been a fan of what you
Thank you.
do, how you do it, and put it together. But now you've got some new things on the horizon. Let's take it right from you. Talk to me about it. I'm excited to hear about it.
Yeah, I guess a few things. Well, I guess like the big thing is that I'm now posting my tournament recaps on the kitchen. So that's been pretty cool because it's kind of introducing me to a whole new audience of people that may have not never really come across my stuff before, but obviously subscribe to the kitchen. Seeing a huge difference, like just on Instagram, like they're sharing my videos, they're making videos for me and cutting up my clips and sharing that, and it's getting like a ton of views. And now I go out and people are like, "Hey, I like friends that I played pickleball with are like, do you make videos like about pickleball?" And I'm like, I've known you for a while now. You didn't know that, so yeah. So it's been pretty cool to link up with the kitchen, but like anything, people are always going to be worried, like what like how is that going to work? Like, are they controlling you? Are they telling you what to say? It's kind of like anytime there's like a musician out there and they're like independent, doing their own thing, they're making
Yes,
great music, and then they sign with like a big record label. You're like, oh, here they go. They're going to sell out, and it's going to be just about pop music. They're going to lose their touch, lose their soul.
that's right.
Yeah, but I don't know. I think I'm just very aware of that. And that was part of the, agreement is like, hey, I'm not going to change who I am or the content I put out. And so it's pretty straightforward. It's like, I'm literally just taking what I'm doing now and also putting it on the kitchen's page. So it's been
Very cool.
mutually
I mean,
beneficial.
congratulations. I mean, it's
Thank you.
awesome, right? I mean, expanding those horizons. I love the analogy because Chris, it's what I was thinking about. I'm like, remember when it was super cool when you owned Kerplunk from Green Day? Next thing you know, here comes Dookie and they're huge. Did they sell out? I don't know. I mean, I thought Green Day pretty good and looked pretty good not even too long ago at the Super Bowl. And so, hey, good for you. Your pickleball is Green Day. There you
There
go.
we
But
go.
you're a
Okay.
solo
I do
artist.
feel like an American idiot sometimes. So that fits
There we
very
go.
well.
That new T-shirt. Let's get that out there on the website. Somebody put that together for
Yeah, there
Chris
we go.
already, right? That'd be awesome. And now, so recently you did the live stream on the event. Sorry, I wasn't able to join in there, but you do things like that. I think are really cool. When's the next, or will you be able to do another game show variety sort of thing?
Yeah, so I mean, I do a few different forms of content. I just try to put stuff out there that's like different and unique and that hasn't really been done before. And so, yeah, part of what I've been doing is, like you said, I did like a virtual watch party. I was like, hey, we're all sitting here watching the semifinals on TV. Like, I had people reach out to me and they were like, oh my gosh, I was so happy you did that. I usually just sit by myself and I have nobody to talk to or listen to. I was so happy I got to just like have another voice on while I'm watching the same thing you guys are watching. It felt like I was there with you. And so that was exactly the goal. It's like, hey, like if you're sitting around watching, come listen in, and then open invite to people who even want to join in and talk with us too. So that was kind of fun. That's definitely a newer thing. The other thing, like you mentioned too, is the game shows. I always wanted to like do a game show. I'm like, it'd be fun. I love Family Feud. And I'm like, well, it would be kind of cool if it was Family Feud, but pickleball questions. And so did that and been doing that for a little bit. And really, I don't know. I just do it for fun because my main bread and butter is doing the tournament recaps, but there's not a tournament on every weekend. So I was like, well, what the heck do I do in between? I still want to try to make some fun content. And yeah, so that's been fun to do too.
Yeah, no, those are great. Yeah, keep doing them, right? And remember, don't forget to invite the kid. I know we missed it that one time, but always available for when it
Yeah, there
comes.
we
Even
go.
have, do you remember the show Tic Tac Doe?
Tic tac toe. No.
Go back. It might be before, your orbit a little bit, but I was thinking dink, drop, smash. You look at Tic Tac Doe, you could do it. You could figure it out. I'm sure
Interesting.
you could. So
Okay.
there you go. You have
To
license
check
to
that
do
out.
that now. I don't know if
Yeah,
the
there we
real
go.
people
Yeah.
behind the show will give you license, but I do.
There we go. Okay, good. That's all I needed.
And so as we look across the horizon of the Pickleverse, and I wanted to talk to you, maybe get your perspective because you do tournament recaps. You know who the top players are, of course. Over the past, let's say 2 years is a fair sample size. We see oftentimes some breakthroughs in the earlier rounds of tournaments, yet you still see predominantly the same people medaling at all three positions. When do you think we might see some more inconsistency to the repetitiveness of the same people winning all the time? When will these people really break through? Would it be a few more years, do you think? Because the top are in their prime.
Yeah, honestly, I if you asked me this like a year ago, I probably would have been like, "Oh, it's coming any minute now. People are gonna pour in, right?" But I had a friend actually make a good point recently that I didn't really think about, where it's like, the last like 2 years, there's been these like moments where you have like a player that just comes in and like dominates right away. Someone like Rachel Warbacher. Even
Yeah.
Kate Fahey to a certain extent. Anna
Kate.
Bright was a big one. Anna Bright came in all of a sudden out of nowhere, and she's now like the number 2 woman player. But the thing is, those players came in from tennis and they said, "Let me try pickleball." And they just like started already at a high level. And it was a matter of them just figuring out a few things and then they jumped in and they were ready to go. I think of like, there's a lot of players now who people kind of might be like, "Oh, this is the next one." But they've been playing pickleball for a while now, for a few years. And it's
Yeah.
like, there's nothing that's going to happen that's just going to get them to like level up to a whole nother tier like super quickly. Like it's gonna take like a while for us to like literally have someone who is like training since a kid, working their way up, and is just like a gifted person. Eye coordination, athleticism. They're gonna have to have all the right gifts to like really
Yeah.
be as dominant as the people that we have right now. Which Anna Lee is so young. It's like she's not going anywhere
Right.
for a very long time. Our best hope is that Ben tries padel and gives up on
Yes.
pickleball. Like
That's
that.
right.
That's all we can hope for.
Or Tipfy. What's the new one? Tipty. Yeah, he's
Oh,
maybe he gets
tiptoe.
it's
Yeah,
Tipty fever,
tiptoe.
or whatever that's called.
Yeah.
That's right. But you're right. I mean, I think it's going to take that true next generation that might be pure picklers, or maybe we're seeing a lot of high school pickle develop, especially around here. And because, yeah, Annalie is young. Yeah, maybe Ben decides maybe there's some other things I might want to do, but the core that are really good and always at the top are also still young. And they can only still refine the shots or come up with some new shots. I don't see the game evolving from that standpoint. Sure, we take it out of the air a little more. That's still going to be the same. And so I think it's a matter of time.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, for sure, eventually, right? But I think it
Yeah.
might take longer than I would have thought a little while ago.
Same.
But hey,
Same.
fingers crossed. I don't know. There's some good young talent, but it is going to take a while for them to
Right.
get
Have
into
that
it. So
consistency,
yeah,
let's
exactly.
say,
I
is
mean, you
what I
even look
would
at
think.
someone like you look at people like Hayden Patriquin, like they're like he's getting better and better every year, and he's like still not even able to like he barely beats Ben, in men's doubles. He barely beats Ben and Anna Lee in mixed doubles. It's like barely. And he's so good and has gotten way better. And that's someone who's like really coming traditionally from pickleball for the most part. So it's like, man, like you're telling me we gotta have somebody better than that, from a young
Right.
age. It's like
And he's
that
still
is
young.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So like he will grow, but it's also like I don't know how much higher his ceiling is than where he's at right now. I hope it's higher, but it's a little hard to believe.
Yeah, for sure. We'll continue to see how those things continue to play out across, and certainly another season upon us. Talking with Chris Cali, back to you as what I would call a very high level, I mean, diamond level pickle fluencer. You are, you know, there's a lot of people now who want to try to get in here, create pickle content. One thing I appreciated when I was reading some of your back episode was how a lot of traditionally, a tournament recap is long form, right? The tournament's long. You're breaking down a lot of highlights. You're doing what you do. Considering shortening some of your own content, maybe. I think that's great advice. I've always been kind of a shorter form content guy myself, except when we're talking with somebody and really getting to know them and having a lot of fun. If somebody's just starting out, what would you tell them from somebody who's had some success? And it's okay to pump your own chest out a little.
What would I tell somebody? I mean, yeah, it sounds cliche, but it's like you have to do something that like you don't want to try to just copy somebody else or just do what you see that you think is working. Like the way I've approached this show and the thing I think I wish more people did was I wish that they said, what's the thing that I want to see? Like, what would I want to watch, if I wasn't doing this? And I think that's why I started it because I'm like, there's nobody doing this. Like, there's nobody recapping the tournaments. There's nobody showing all the like cringe, all the like funny, awkward moments, all the highlights. Like, there was nobody doing it. And so I'm like, well, I guess I'll do it, And so I think if more people have that approach, then like if I had to give someone advice, that's what I would say. Cause it's like, that's really going to be the way that you lock in and figure it out because it's always going to be, anytime you start creating stuff, it's always like it always sucks at first. Like, I'm sure you can remember your first like 10 episodes that you did. You probably
I
look
do.
back and you're like, I don't know, that was okay. And now you figured it out. You figured out the format, you figured out what you need to do, you've problem solved a lot of the stuff. Same with me. I look back on like the original stuff and I'm like, yikes. Like, how did I feel okay putting that out there? But you have to do that part. And
Absolutely.
part of that pressure is what gets you to problem solve and go, okay, like, how do I improve this? But you're never going to really be able to do that if you're making something that you wouldn't even yourself watch, you know?
Right. And there's where, I mean, again, I appreciate what you said because imitation, best form of flattery. Love what you do. Would love to incorporate my little take on kind of some things like that in my show. Unfortunately, my own still cringeability is I want to make sure it's produced the right way. Because again, if I'm watching it, and I'm not talking like we're mega bucks or anything, but at least the next level of what I can do right now. And I'll get there, but I'm still having a blast what I'm doing. Again, appreciate you joining me right here, having a lot of fun. We covered a little Proton. We're talking about what you're doing next with pickleball in general. And this always leads me back to Olympics. And I want to go away from there. The Olympics just happened. Now you're out there in California. Are you close to any of the World Cup? World Cup's coming, right? The World Cup's going to captivate everybody across the world, especially in this country. I got teams practicing out here in Mesa. Do you watch the World Cup? We're going to get off the court for a minute and talk a little soccer.
I honestly, I forgot about the World Cup coming here. That's like, yeah, it's like not really on my radar. I would probably go if it like presented itself. The Olympics actually is funny you say that, and you're like, I don't want to talk about the Olympics, and I'm like, well, here we go, we're talking about it. It
How
is
I do
out here,
that?
and
See
it
how
is
I
out
do
here.
that?
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just have to open the door so you
you
walk
know.
right through it.
There you go. Yeah, well, it is out here in LA, and but I am definitely going to be getting tickets to go to something like that. But honestly, I'm glad you reminded me about the World Cup because maybe I'll look into. I don't, but it's probably like crazy expensive, right?
Yeah, I was about to say if you get
Yeah.
invited, well, I don't know if you're just gonna go. Well, maybe you got sorry not sorry money. You go grab a ticket, no problem.
There's none of that. Yeah, no, I wish, but yeah, that I would. It seems cool. I would definitely love to go if I could.
But yeah, Olympics in LA. Pre-scout the events you might want to go to and start looking to secure passage for that because it's going to book up pretty quick. And I mean, we're not going to have pickleball at that Olympics. I think we've got a better shot for 32.
Yeah, I think it's Australia, right? I think so. I think that's the next like eligible one for pickleball. So
Yeah,
it'd be silly if it wasn't in there. I think it's already silly that it's not going to be in this one, but
me
whatever.
too. I mean, can we get people just to stop bouncing their heads off each other and just say, okay, we all want it. You can represent it and somehow we'll all benefit from it. But it
Yeah.
sounds a lot easier than it is.
Pickleball should just do their own like separate event that like we are like just kind of it's just like a world event that we're doing just
That'd be
around the
cool.
Olympics anyways. Like we're not affiliated with the Olympics, but like, hey, everybody from all your countries, get your best team and come on out here.
Let's do it.
I think that would be fun. Yeah.
That'd be wild, right? I mean, then you'd see some serious pickle talent on display. Great segue. I mean, expansion of pickleball worldwide is still crazy to me. Countries adapting the sport. And then you see some high level play coming from, far east, coming from Europe, still coming from right here in the United States. It's not going to stop. Where would you want to go to play pickleball if you just had to pick a spot and say destination pickle?
Well, I did just recently see a post on Instagram. So PPA is expanding. Obviously we've heard of PPA Asia. Now they're doing, I was all excited. They had PPA Italy.
Nice.
But then you look at it and you're like, okay, where in Italy is it? And they're like, oh, our tournament's in Slovenia, a completely different country.
That's not
So
Italy.
yeah, it's like, that is not Italy. But I mean, it still is like nice. It's right on the coast. And it does seem, it's close enough to Italy where you could go back and forth. So if I had to go somewhere, I'd probably go there.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. And yeah, I mean, Asia, Australia, PPA Tour, getting everywhere. I'm doing a lot with the Ultimate Pickleball League right now and plans to expand out in the Philippines and other places as well as we continue to kind of build this thing. And that's what I just think is great to continue to see the sport expand, see younger people play, and just see everybody when you go out to your local courts, they're still packed. And so I just don't see a dip down that maybe even 3 years ago people thought would happen. Oh yeah, people aren't going to be playing pickleball. Yeah, they are. People are even more people are still playing pickleball.
Yeah, it's definitely here to stay. Yeah.
Absolutely. And have you played padel?
No, no, I'm almost scared to. I'm like, I don't even wanna, like, give myself a chance to like it.
I wanna play. Anyone I talk to loves it. They still play a lot of pickle, but I hear it's great fun. Haven't had a chance to either, but, someday I'm sure I will.
I just like that you can just hit it as hard as you want, and it's gonna just, like, bounce off the glass.
It
Like,
can go all yeah,
that
you can hit it off the wall, right? I mean,
yeah,
that's seems super fun to me.
yeah. It should be cool. Yeah, if somebody invited me, I'd probably do it.
Oh, for sure. Now, do you have any travel on your radar? Are you looking to go in person to attend any upcoming tour events? Anything planned? What's going on?
Yeah, I know we got MLP in Newport that'll be coming up. That should be fun. I was just at the PPA Newport recently, and that was a blast. Almost saw Ben Johns get knocked out by a golf ball. That was pretty insane. So yeah,
Were
MLP
you
will be
right
back in
there?
Newport.
Were you on
I was
that
right
court?
there. Yeah. So it was crazy because Fed crashed out, went to the bench screaming at the ref. And then you just see like everybody in the crowd looks up in the sky and you just see this object up there, but you don't know what it is. So I was like, did Fed just like throw something up in the air like out of anger? I was like, why did he do? I'm like, first off, why did he do that? Second, he threw that really high in the air. Like that's crazy. And then like it lands and I was like, that was weird. And then I see Ben take the ball and throw it back on the court and I'm like, did he just throw a golf ball? What was that? And I could see on the
Wild.
camera right there that they were showing the replay of it. I was like, I said to my buddy, I was like, dude, he almost just got hit by a golf ball. That was crazy. That was what that was. So yeah, that was pretty nuts. That was pretty crazy to see in real time.
MLP outlook. What do you think? I mean, again, you want to talk about getting confused in pickleball, watch the MLP draft. At any rate, they're getting ready to go. I'm a huge fan of MLP. I think the way the teams are shaped right now, I don't really see a clear cut favorite. Maybe a couple of the names you might be used to. What say you?
I feel like the fives are the clear cut favorite. I feel like it's almost like it's
They
almost
loaded
like
up.
got even worse. Yeah, they got Georgia and Annalie Waters. I mean, the beauty of MLP is that even if you do have two really good female players, you still got the men's side of things. But Noah Cliff and Will Howells should be good to go. I guess the thing is like maybe Will Howells would take a dip in his level because he
Little
got
nosedive.
hurt. Yeah, but I mean, I don't think that's coming. Obviously,
You
the
got
shock are always going to be, having potential. We'll see if the Flash could keep up now that they lost Georgia. The sliders, I
interesting
feel like
things. I think
potentially
Columbus
got
looks pretty
better.
good. Yeah,
Yeah,
DC might be able to play. I mean, I think
yeah,
I think there's some teams, even though they grabbed Georgia over there on the fives, right? And the clowns are ready to honk their horns and go all the way. We'll see because they didn't get there the year before and they were pretty loaded. So, but it's a different dynamic. I know it's gonna be a lot of
yeah,
fun though.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm super excited for MLP. I feel like PPA just holds me over. It's like when you're just like eating a few chips before the meal. You're like, all right, well, I'm starving. Something's better than
That's right.
nothing.
And then
But
when you
MLP
need
is the
that
main
shot of
course.
espresso, find a little UPL, right? Tone
There
it
we go.
down a
Okay,
little bit, grab a little ultimate pickleball league. I got to get you watching a little of that.
okay, yeah, there we go.
We were just out in your backyard, well, close to you. And season's going to start April 18th. Excited for it, right? We're kind of filling that semi-pro gap where we can hopefully be developmental in the fact we're our top tier players. Hey, maybe then they can take a crack at a PPA, MLP. We'll see. Like I said, in the infancy, first year of the deal, but exciting. It's always exciting when things
Yeah,
like
that's
this
super
are
cool.
happening, and you're a part of it.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. Yeah, I love that you guys are doing that. I've been seeing some of your clips, interviewing people out there. You're there. You're in
Yeah,
it.
man. All over it. That's what I got to do, following in your footsteps, maybe in a little bit of a different direction. But it's all good sitting here with Chris Cali. Now, sorry not sorry pickleball. You mentioned don't have to go away from doing that content, but now also under the shingle of the kitchen, which I think is pretty cool. And we'll talk a little more about that and how that can continue to develop for you. Where do you want to see this go for you?
Yeah, I mean, they already have a lot of cool opportunities with what they're doing. I mean, their main podcast, Pickleballers, is definitely growing big time. It's literally on Pickleball TV, so that's pretty cool. So who knows? I mean, maybe one day they start putting more content on Pickleball TV. It seems like there's not a whole lot on there anyways, so they could use some stuff. Um,
Absolutely. They could fill that spot where they've got Andre from the league trying to talk pickleball or whatever that show is called. Just get that out
yeah.
there. They could throw you in
I think
there.
they stopped that. Yeah, I think everybody realized that was a mistake. Yeah, they tried. Yeah.
Yeah, you got to try, right? I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
throw me
I tried
on it
I
late
tried to,
night.
like, power through and grit my teeth to watch it, and I literally could not do it. I'm
Couldn't.
like, "Alright, this is rough." Yeah,
I couldn't.
yeah.
I actually stopped watching pickleball TV for like a week, and I like watching the tournaments. I'm like, I'm gonna show them, right? Here goes
Yeah.
one, one
Here's your
less click for
punishment.
you, pickleball
Yeah.
TV.
I could feel you on that.
Good stuff. Good stuff. With Chris Cali, sorry, not sorry, pickleball here on Pickle with Mickle. Chris, it's been a lot of fun as we kind of wind it down here, and I appreciate you joining me. You mentioned going to Newport. You don't really have to travel along at the PPA tour. We mentioned top players on tour. If you had to spotlight one up and comer that people might want to check out this year, who do you see out there on the radar? I didn't do a new MLP 15 yet for this year, but, some of the folks I named last year, Alex Trong, some of the other young ones who are still out there, what do you see?
Well, I think the person that I'm going to be looking at a lot is Danny Townsend. She's from Australia. She's going to be on the Columbus Sliders. So she's basically replacing Leia, and she has Alex Strong on the same team too. They're playing with pairs. So there's kind of a lot of pressure on her, and everybody's hyping her up as like a really good player. And I mean, I've seen her play when they do PPA Australia, and she seems good and worthy of that spot. But, like when the pressure's on and you got to be there consistently, what's that going to look like? So yeah, I think that's kind of like the one person I'm like very curious to see how it pans out. It could go really well, or maybe not so much in the first year. It might take her a little time, and then Alex Strong is right there in the wings, and we know that she could at least be reliable. Maybe
She
not
gets better and
ceiling
better.
as high, but yeah, she does seem like she's worthy of taking a spot over Townsend if things don't work out. So that'll be interesting.
Yeah, man. Well, awesome. Tell people again. I mean, obviously, can find you out on YouTube. Where all is everything that you do with the kitchen?
Yeah, so I mean, tournament recaps are on the kitchen's page. If you go to their YouTube page, you could find them all right there. You could even find them on my page, but you'd have to like go in and look at the collaboration playlist or the recap playlist. A little bit trickier to find it, but if you go on the kitchen, it's all right there. You'll see SNS recaps with Chris Cali. I'm on X. I'm on Instagram. So sorry, not sorry, pickleball.
Follow him out there on all the socials. Anything else? Any last plugs that you might want to throw out there at all?
I guess also, yeah, check out the firefight zone, which we've been doing. So every now and then during tournaments, if they got all these side courts, they've got like 10 different side courts. Nobody is able to watch all of them.
Right.
So what we do is we say, hey, we found this match right now. This is like the best match to watch right now, and I'll be commentating over that every now and then. So it's on YouTube. It's
Is
been
that
on YouTube, but
specific to PPA events or will you do MLP too?
I think it's just going to be PPA events because
Okay.
usually for MLP, everything's just on the one or two courts.
Gotcha. That's really cool. It's almost like a pickle red zone. You can listen to
Exactly.
them calling it out, calling the best action. And man, had a lot of fun here today. Mentioned everything we wanted to get to. I can't think of anything else I wanted to get to you. What I'd like to do is do this a little more often, get you back on here, make sure I'm keeping up with everything you're doing.
Yeah.
But it's great to see you, man. I love what you do out there. Thanks for making some time for me, Chris Cali. Sorry, not sorry, pickleball. Thanks, man.
Yeah. No, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem.